Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto. Let's get into it. There's a lot to unpack today, and I need you to pay attention, all right? These are the things that I want you to go do some research on. First off, we know that the market took a hit yesterday. We took about 1,000-point hit in terms of the Cryptoverse. When I say market, I mean Cryptoverse. If I say stock market, that means the stock market. So the Cryptoverse took a hit because Curve Finance got hacked. Now, Curve Finance did get hacked, but they've been shored up by the likes of Justin Tron and other major players in the space. Why is that? Well, because it's a huge DeFi project. Now, there's been a lot of FUD swirling around that. What I'm hoping is that FUD will fall away and Curve Finance will be able to work its way back up. That's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see what happens as that moves forward. Another piece of bad news was that, and this one is troubling, Fitch, right? Fitch Ratings dropped news that they are downgraded or have downgraded the U.S. debt to AA plus from AAA. Now, what makes this a big problem is the fact that by their own algorithm, by their own process, this downgrade should have happened 3.5 years ago. That's right. Using their own project, their own model, it says that this downgrade should have happened 3.5 years ago. So now everybody's questioning, well, why did you downgrade it now? Now, think about this. The economy is on an upward trajectory, right? Not a downward trajectory. It's on an upward trajectory. Recession is actually a word that's being downplayed now. So, if we're currently on an upward trajectory, and you should have done this 3 years ago, would this be an upgrade right now? Had you done what you said you were going to do according to your model? Yeah, that timing is uncanny. If you look at the events and news that I won't talk about on this show. But it just seems like a political move to me. Doesn't seem like it's a factual move. Now, that you could point to that, for the past 20 years, things have not been going in the right direction. Just look at the U.S. debt to begin with. We shouldn't have so much debt. Yeah, that's what we should be looking at. That's what we should be looking at. But that should have happened 3.5 years ago. Right? That's my issue. It's not that the United States debt has been downgraded. It's the fact that they waited 3.5 years to do so. So if you are not going to abide by your own model, then why should I even bother to trust you? Now do you see why Bitcoin and altcoins and the whole cryptoverse are here? Because we're tired of the manipulation. We're tired of things like this. Where can we trust? That's the question. Then you've got the federal judge. I told you about this. The federal judge says, hey, we're going to, do what we do. And I'm going to say, well, Terraform Labs can't rely on the judgment, done for Ripple. And I told you yesterday it was based on a very small and obscure passage in the Howey Rule. And actually, I read about all that, and John Deaton agreed with the CTOs, the Ripple CTOs, reading into it. And I sat there and I just said, yeah, I could see why. Now, I not only can see why, that shouldn't have been called in, but I can also see why, this judge just wanted to throw a monkey wrench into things. That's really what I see. Also, you have to recognize that the two cases are drastically different. Go do your own research on that, but they are drastically different. So those three pieces gave us a lot of bad news, and the Cryptoverse dropped by 1,000 points. Where are we now? 1,000 points up. The resilience that the Cryptoverse is showing is amazing. It is amazing. If you look at all the good news that's out there, and I have more to give you, MicroStrategy is going to sell $750 million worth of shares. Now, you can only guess what they're going to do with at least some of that money. But wow. When you see institutional investors doing something, you should be paying attention. I'm not saying that you have to mimic what they're doing. I'm not saying that you have to do what they're doing. I'm not saying that you have to do the opposite of what they're doing. I am saying that you better pay attention. MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, huge, if not the biggest Bitcoin lovers in the world. Remember, MicroStrategy is backed by BlackRock, or at least has BlackRock as an investor. Now, I look at that and I just go, this is nothing but good stuff. Then you have the Bank of England saying, hey, we tested out Ripple's interledger protocol for real-time settlements. Guess what? It worked. They released a paper yesterday and I just sat there and I was like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool. But that says that didn't happen yesterday. The news dropped yesterday, right? This is what I'm trying to teach you guys. The news dropped yesterday, but that says that with the backdrop of the SEC hammering on Ripple, Ripple was still handling business. It takes work to do that, right? It takes work to integrate something like that, and they've been working. So the next question is, well, will they actually implement it as a final solution? They're only a hair away, right? I'm thinking that's a strong possibility. So I'm going to wait for the other shoe to drop. But that's huge news for Ripple. They're not just pushing XRP. They're not pushing, into the XRP ledger. They're pushing everything within their space that they should be pushing. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Now, Chainalysis and Deloitte partner up and they create a service. Obviously, some of the services come with some software because that's where Chainalysis comes in. And it's to help identify bad actors. That is both a public and private service that can be offered, that is being offered. That's huge. Deloitte is one of the world's largest and most renowned consulting firms. Chainalysis is one of the world's most renowned and respected security vendors and analytical vendors in the Cryptoverse. This is a good thing. I point to it because if you look at the Cryptoverse, we've got a lot of things going on. DeFi, Web3, metaverses, all this stuff. And now you're seeing more layering happening, more maturing happening. This is a part of that foundational growth and maturity. And that's what I'm looking for. Then I start reading more. And, I had been wondering for a while, everybody's on this whole Bitcoin ETF thing, Bitcoin spot ETF thing. And I said, well, what about Ethereum? There are 6 companies that are vying for Ethereum futures ETFs. At least a couple of these names should be recognizable. Grayscale, Bitwise, VanEck, ProShares, Roundhill, and Volatility Ventures, all filed for Ethereum futures ETFs. Again, more foundation, more adoption, more interest. There are people that are interested in getting involved in the Cryptoverse that don't actually want to touch the Cryptoverse. They don't want to take the time to learn about it. So what they want are these companies to get educated and start offering them things where they can have exposure to that space. That's what they're looking for. Again, foundation and maturity. That's what I'm seeing. Sorry about that. That's Stitch, shaking it out. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. Now, normally I would show you my spreadsheet and I'd show you who's up, who's down. I don't have time for all that today. So we're going to get into, just straight up what's going on in our space. And you can see Bitcoin up 29.5. It had touched, actually, I think it had breached 30,000. 30,000 is the ceiling. I don't care what anybody says. 30,000 is the ceiling right now. It really is. Before you can talk about anything above that, 30,000 is the ceiling, and for me, 28 is the floor. Okay, that's how I'm looking at it right now, and I'll show you. There you go. Here's my 28. That to me is the floor. Came a little too close to it right there. That didn't make me smile. But then that 30,000 mark, see right there, I think we had gone just above it a little bit, but didn't sustain. We need to sustain being above 30,000. That is the mark. That's a mark before we get to my 31,580. And I told you, once we sustain above 31,580, we're off to the races to about probably 40,000-50,000 for Bitcoin. That's my take on it. That really is my take on it. But right now, we still have to battle to get back above 30,000. That would be the one, right? Looking at the big board again, you see Bitcoin is up, Ethereum is up, XRP is trying to fight back up. Again, I'm looking at XRP and Matic. I'm looking at both of those to get above 70 cents. Matic being Polygon. Switching to Pole soon. It's up here in the corner, right? SHIB is up, okay? I'm expecting that later this month, after they announce Shibarium and other things that they have going on, that they might actually shave a zero. They might get back to where they need to be, which is shaving zeros. And then with the use of everything that they're doing, I think that number for Shiba Inu is going to go up. Doge had, peaked at 8 point something cents. It's back down to 7.6 cents. But remember, this is where it had been for a while before it took that huge hit. So there are things going on that tell me that there's a lot of pent up energy that's about to explode. So this is what I'm paying attention to. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto. Hope you like what I'm doing. If there are any questions that you have, please let me know. I will be happy to do the research and see what's going on. And yes, I will have some serious news later this week. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.